Hello everybody, Tas here from the Equipment Guide and welcome to our review for the best hiking tent in the UK. Today we're going to tell you what advice we give to our family if they want to buy an hiking tent. We're going to show you what you'll get for your money and we'll guide you step by step through our review to tell you which one is the best two-person hiking tent in the UK. So what advice would I give to my best friend if he wanted to buy a hiking tent? The most common question is, how many seasons do I need? If you want to go hiking in the summer, I would recommend a 3-season tent. For most UK weather conditions, I would recommend a 4-season tent though. How important is weight? Weight gets talked about a lot. The less you got, the more you have to compromise. There's 3 points where you should focus on: features, material, and space. Choosing your tent, you should balance those things out. When it comes to hiking tents, 1.5 kilos is completely fine. Everything up to 2 kilos still is alright, but you shouldn't go near the 2.5 mark. So what features should you be looking for? Well, double vestibules are a good thing to have. You can store all your gear in them. You should be also looking for single or double pole setups. And another good thing to have, internal pockets. Obviously things like size, materials, and weight play a big role for the decision. We'll show you in our detailed review. We ranked each hiking tent into 5 different categories: comfort, construction, features, size and weight, and versatility. For full details, see our website. Comfort is the first category, and this includes floor space, headroom, and layout. There's a lot of differences here between tents. The Van Gogh Nevis, for instance, is pretty cramped, and it's a stretch to call it a two-person tent. Others, like the MSR Access 2, Lightwave Sigma S22, and the MSR Hubba Hubba, provide spacious, symmetrical floor spaces that also leave plenty of room for your gear. The next category is construction, and there's a real trade-off between weight, quality, and cost. You preferably want strong aluminum poles rather than fiberglass, and ripstop material. Most of the top brands have these. It's just the cheaper tents that don't. So just be wary of those pitfalls. No tents that fall into that low quality category have ranked in this review. Features. So features look at how easy it is to set up a tent, as well as livability features like privacy screens, vestibules, and pockets to store your stuff. Again, most of the top brands here are fairly comparable and have all the basic features that you'd want. It's just another one of those pitfalls where you need to be mindful about cheaper models like the Van Gogh Nevis being hard to set up. Size and weight. This looks at the weight of a tent and how much space it takes when it's packed down. So the Nemo Hornet is just over 1 kilo and it's a tiny little package, so great for multi-day hikes. On the other end of the scale is the Big Agnes Copper Spur. It's a bit bulky in the pack, and the Van Gogh Nevis is a bit on the heavier side. Last but not least, versatility. This looks at how to use the tent. Do you want to use it for one day, a multi-day trip, or a regular camping trip? In our view, the best hiking tents should be able to do all 3 of them. So this is where we found a bit of difference between the models. Something like the Nemo Hornet is probably the best for longer multi-day trips because of the smaller inner space. The Van Gogh Nevis, on the other hand, is probably too heavy for multi-day trips. The MSR Hubba Hubba we'd happily use for all 3. Alright, the all-important budget question. There's always outliers, but at the time of writing, we can split the market into 3 big categories. So for tents under £200, you're typically looking at tents that might fall apart because they use lower quality materials and they might be a bit cramped. So we would recommend to spend a bit more so you won't regret your choice. The next category is £200 to £500. In this category, you can find quite good bargains, and they are not different from the high quality tents if you know what you're looking for. So then there's the over £500 category. In this category, you can't do much wrong because everything you're going to buy is probably going to be a high quality tent and lightweight. Okay, so overall, let's have a look where we landed. The blue lines indicate our ratings, and the orange dots show the price. The MSR Hubba Hubba came out on top. Its price is great compared to its rating. We think it's a really well constructed, high quality tent, and you can use it for everything. Next up, the Nemo Hornet is our ultralight pick, but keep in mind that the Hornet has that slightly smaller inner space and is much better suited for warmer conditions. And then there are much higher price points. But the MSR Access 2 and Lightwave Sigma S22 are fantastic tents. A shout out to the Kelty All Inn 2, which is our best value choice. Okay, so that was it with our review. Full written reviews can be found on our website. And if it helped you to buy a hiking tent, jump on there to donate or to tell us what you thought.